That's really not. This is not elementary school. One announcement. The Genesee Valley chapter is responsible for 12 miles of the Finger Lakes Trail near Cornell. We've scheduled 2 dates for a trail maintenance trip there in October 18th and October 25th. These we typically meet between 8 and 8:15 at Frontier Commons off of 390 South, and we carpool down. We work for a few hours, maybe have lunch in the Cornell area, and come back. If you're interested in this, please contact Frank Jones. Frank, if you would stand, contact that person, or look on our website for further details. Next, Dave Harrison, Secretary of the Maine ADK Club, has a few comments to make about where do our dues go and what activities are the Maine Club performing on our behalf.
Our chapter Conservation Committee thought that it might be useful to have a brief update at these meetings of what the Maine Club in Lake George and Albany has been doing on important conservation issues. Sometimes we get so involved in our local issues that we're not aware of all the work that's being done through the Maine Club. So I have basically a 5-minute update. Some of these things you may already be aware of, some of them not. But the first one, in August, ADK co-hosted a public forum in Plattsburgh, New York, to focus attention on a major new environmental issue that's going on in the North Country, specifically rail shipments of crude oil through the Adirondack Park, through Plattsburgh and along Lake Champlain. Currently, the crude oil is what's called Bakken crude, which is a mixture of oil and methane. It's highly explosive in the event of a derailment. For example, one such explosion in Canada about a year ago killed 47 people. So obviously, we're concerned about it in the North Country, especially the local populations. Also, there are plans that are underway to use rail transportation for tar sand oil. Now, tar sand oil is not volatile like the Bakken crude oil, but it's a major pollutant. If anything should get into Lake Champlain, it could cost literally billions of dollars to get it out, and it would be very damaging to the lake. So this public forum was very well attended, got a lot of publicity, about 200 people showed up. Another issue elsewhere in the state. How many of you have heard of Sterling Forest? Okay. Sterling Forest, it's a beautiful state park in the Ramapo Mountains in Orange County. And it was created in the 1990s. And ADK was one of the organizations that helped make that happen. You're probably aware that as a result of last November's elections, casino gambling is going to be expanded in New York. There is one casino builder that wants to site one of the casinos in the town of Tuxedo, which is basically surrounded by Sterling Forest. ADK feels strongly this is a bad idea. Not only would it ruin the environmental character of Sterling Park, but it would also have a lot of negative impact on the hydrology in the area. So we've submitted about 20 pages of comments to the state, to the Gaming Commission, suggesting that this is not such a good site. There are other sites in the state that are under consideration that would be much better locations for this kind of use. Moving on, you may recall that last winter, ADK and the Adirondack Council negotiated with some local communities in the Adirondacks to work out an agreement concerning a unit management plan for the 60,000-acre Essex chain of lake area, this magnificent wilderness, which is combined with part of the Hudson River corridor. And this negotiation was specifically requested by by Governor Cuomo, and as a result, a settlement agreement was reached with the local communities that would help preserve the Essex chain and keep it from being adversely impacted by excessive snowmobiling and float planes. It's an agreement that we thought everybody could live with. However, when the DEC finally issued its unit management plan for the area, which is the basic governing document for any area of the Adirondacks, they failed to mention any of these snowmobiling issues that were the subject of the negotiations. So ADK was extremely upset with this. It's like ignoring the major issue. So we made this point vigorously to the DEC, and as a result, the DEC did something unprecedented, and that is they withdrew their draft unit management plan in order to take into account these issues. So a new unit management plan will be forthcoming. And finally, you may also remember that as a result of last November's election, one of the constitutional amendments had to do with NICO, a minerals drilling company. It was a land swap in which the NICO would be given 200 acres of Adirondack Forest Preserve in exchange for their donation of not less than $1 million worth of other land in the Adirondacks to be incorporated in the Forest Preserve. Well, at this point, what was supposed to happen as a result of that constitutional amendment was NICO was supposed to go in and do some sampling to determine the amount of this mineral called balastanite that they want to mine. But the whole thing is bogged down in litigation by a number of organizations. We're not, ADK is not directly involved in it, but basically we made our comments to the state, to the DEC, governor's office, indicating that even though we're not involved in the suit, we're really concerned that there was no enabling legislation passed that set parameters on how NICO was going to go in and do the sampling. Are they just going to bulldoze their way into the Forest Preserve? Are there going to be some constraints on how they do the sampling? So right now the whole thing is being held up in abeyance. That's all I have on this. I hope it wasn't too long. If you have any further questions, you can see me after the meeting. Thanks.
Next, Shane Hedford with an announcement about one of our trips.
Good evening. It is time for registration for our annual lodge trip, a chapters trip. This year is the weekend of February 19th to 22nd. It's Thursday night through Sunday. It's an all-inclusive trip, and it's open to everybody, members and non-members alike, experienced people, newbies, somebody who's new to the club or wants to check out the club and doesn't even have the gear. You can rent snowshoes at the lodge, and there's all levels of people from our group. We take over the whole lodge, all levels that you can join for a hike, a climb, a ski, or Dave knows some of the drinking spots of Lake Placid that he wrote up in one of the recent trip reports, one of the recent trips. And again, this year we're going to have Annie and Johnny Rosen. They're going to perform for us. They'll stay with us on Saturday night, and then they will be the entertainment Saturday evening. And for those of you who don't know Annie and the Hedonists and want to get a sampling, they are going to be performing in Rochester October 18th, a week from Saturday, at the Christian Reformed Church on Atlantic Avenue in Penfield. Now thanks to Steve, the website has now the registration and the detailed announcement, and there are links in that announcement for Annie and the Hedonists website, information about the concert. Also a link with photos from prior years' trips. We've got quite a collection from the last 4 or 5 years of photos from the lodge trip. Again, if you don't know anything about it, take a look at them and decide. And, oh, this year it's a bargain. The family bunk rooms, actually, I was able to get the price down, so it's even cheaper than last year. The loft, which is the competitive one, and we have to have a lottery every year, that's only $1 more for the whole weekend than last year. So besides the entertainment and we're going to have great snow, it's also a bargain this year. Thank you.
Next, trails announcements. Marty Turner.
Good evening. I just got going to tell you what's going on this weekend, and also just one quick comment or a couple quick comments after that. First of all, we're going to have a Saturday hike, and it's going to be on the Genesee Greenway, right just south of the O'Rourke Bridge. Jim Bishop will be leading it, and the instructions are on the site, or the site you can find them there. The next one is, if you want to have more challenging hike, there's a 10-mile hike. They're going to be down in the Salamanca area. It'll be an all-day trip. If you haven't hiked before, you need to either do a Sunday hike or you get a hold of Larry Tully, and he could talk to you about going on the trip. That is also on the site. Anyone that wants to do a hike or anything like that, I just send it to me. My email's on the site, and I could put it in for you. It's not that hard to do a hike. And the last comment is that I think the Saturday hike is, we have 3 hike leaders, so we could use a few more. And I think the Sunday hike could use a few more leaders. If you want to be a leader, you just talk to a few of us. It's not that hard. Thank you very much.
Next, representing young members, Dave Schott.
Hello, everybody. So, most of what I want to say has already been touched on by other people, so I will keep it brief. I do see some new faces here, which is wonderful to see. So just for those of you who don't know, the younger members is a group of your 20s, 30s, and 40s who kind of like to do things generally a little more adventurous, but we also have a side of us that do things that are more introductory for those of you who might not have tried something before and want to get into it, be it winter hiking, snowshoeing, skiing, or in the summer paddling, or even hiking in the Adirondacks. I was brought into it by a fellow ADKer, which I'd never heard of the 46 before I had joined. So come see me if you want to hear more about the younger members and what makes us what we are. We do have coming up in February a lodge trip very similar to what you just heard about with the chapter lodge trip, but this one is tailored for the younger members. The price is a little less. The details are not all set yet, so if you think you're interested in going to that, please let me know so that I can try to find a lodge of the right size, because we do sometimes change up where we have it. And that is going to be the weekend of Valentine's Day. It's going to be, we drive up after work generally, or people take a half day on the Friday, then we're there all day Saturday, Sunday, and we come back on Monday. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, as usual, the younger members are going to go over the Old Toad directly after this meeting. So come and join us, and this is, the invitation is extended to everybody, not just those who fit into the younger members demographic. Thank you.
Next, one of the parts we always wait for, Jackson and the bookstore.
Hi, everybody! Hello. For those who are new to our programs, this is the freebie table. Handouts galore. Everything on this table is free. Everybody gets a little drama on their pitch, right? I now have the ADK's newest guidebook, Central Trails, complete with a map. Just happen to have the free seating edition. $10, mostly unchanged from what the new one is, but this is half price, just so we can get rid of it and try to recover some of our expense. Newest edition of the West Central region. And I run out last month of High Peaks, the newest edition of the High Peaks Trail Guide. So these are back in stock now. And ta-da! Let the truck come with Blair. And we've been waiting for this ADK calendar. Here it is. Okay, you guys know what this is all about. So, guess what? We're holding the same price, $11. Okay? And of course, all prices include tax and shipping. So, I hope to see you after the program. Some people have been over here before we started, and we've already had a great beginning to some sales for tonight. And let's hope that continues. Don't forget, there are t-shirts, carabiners, bandanas, books galore. You name it practically, we have it.
Jordan's way in the back.
Way in the back. There it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about you. See how conditioned I am? I'm so used to finding the speaker up front. Donna. Okay. Okay, period. Donna. Stop wiggling those fingers. Stop wiggling those fingers and come this way, please. So, I can offer you a bandana, and I'm going to offer them. So, and I have whites, and burgundies on the table, and maroon on the table. The burgundy, okay, you got one of those. It hasn't been touched by human hands. Last night, picked up on that. I secretly landed in Mars 3 years ago, so don't worry. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Jack. Thanks, everybody.
Next, to introduce our feature speaker, Grace Full.